Torah, Lech, Lecha, page 26. We started this Maimer, Betzamei Mazen Nimol Avraham, which now the Rebbe is discussing that the concept of Mila is higher than Torah and higher than Yud Kei Vav Kei. Torah comes down here, but Mila is me, and not only Torah is called Torah Hashem, but Mi Yalla Lanu Hashemayim is Rosh Tevis Mila and the Sofet Tevis Yud Kei Vav Kei. So obviously it's even higher. That's why there's Yud Gimel Brisis concerning Bris Mila, because it corresponds with Yud Gimel Midas Rachman. But there's a level of Mila that's Avedim Umato L'mayla, Umalta Mesorn L'Savach, it's our Aveda, and then it becomes, after Kibbutz Goliath, Umol Hashem L'Kachet Savavcha, then Hashem reveals this Gilu of Yud Gimel Midas Rachman, the higher level of Bris Mila. Okay, then... Okay, second column, second line from the top of the second column of 26. So he says, just like the concept of Krisis Bris between two friends is above Seichel, that means even when Seichel dictates it shouldn't be friends. The Bris makes it that they're friends anyway. The Kach daily is Giliv Amshachim Mila Gedela now. In order to have this level of Mila Gedela, which is the Giliv Mamayla, which is more Rav Tucha, not only Tucha, Rav Tucha, the abundance of good, is to Aidei Gimel Midas Rachmim, Shem Lamayla Me'achachma V'Seichel, which is higher than Seichel because it's the level of Keser. Yud Gimel Midas Rachmim is a level of Keser, which is higher than the highest level of Chachma. L'kachi Lamayla B'china Shem Avaya. Therefore, it's higher than the level of Yud Kei Vav Kei. It's a higher level of Torah. Like Yud Gimel Midas Rachmim, which is a level of Ma'ala Me'at Torah. Therefore, it's Lichas Oven. Therefore, you get forgiveness for desecrating Torah, meaning sinning. So you get Kapara, Tshuva, which is from Yud Gimel Midas Rachmim, Salachti Kivarecha. So obviously, that's a level higher than Torah. Like Hashem says, Yasid Tshuva Yishchapelei. That because what's the connection? Because the concept of Bris Mila is a level of Yud Gimel Midas Rachmim. Is the level of Yud Gimel Midas Rachmim, which is higher than Torah, because Torah Leiv Hashemayim, and this is Miyala Lanu Hashemayim, even higher than Shemayim, and Torah is called Torah Hashem. Torah comes into Gashmistic world. Like it says, Azana Madyavar Amcha Avaya. Ad Yavad, what does it mean? Ad Yavad, Shebechina Shelamaylim Mishem Avaya, which is even higher. Ad Yavad Amcha Avaya, until Yavad Amcha means the nation will pass over. Amcha Hashem, it simply means until Hashem, your nation will pass over. He says, Yavad Amcha, the Yidden, will pass over the level of Yud Kei Vav Kei. Because when the Yidden were supposed to go into Eretz Yisrael, the original plan, so to speak, was, that's it, Mashiach's coming, and Moshe Rabbeinu is going to be the ultimate. But Gam Yud Gimel Midas Rachmim, even by Yud Gimel Midas Rachmim, it says, Vayaver Hashem Alponov. Vayaver means he passes higher than the like Lifnei Hashem, like we learned. At the beginning of the Maimed, Alter Rebbe asked, if Avraham Avinu kept the whole Torah, why didn't he do the mitzvah Bris Mila? He kept the whole Torah. He says, like Kiyam mitzvah Mila. Why? Because because he didn't want to do the lower level of Bris Mila. He wanted to reach the higher level of Bris Mila Milmayla, Shel Milmayla Lamata. And therefore, I'll explain in a second. Therefore, he kept the whole Torah, his Avodah, even that level. Then he wanted to reach, in other words, like this. If Avraham Avinu would have done the bris before Hashem commanded him to do the bris, so it would have been the regular Avodah Mamata L'mayla, what he's doing. Avraham Avinu wanted to reach a Gilu Mamata L'mata, from higher to lower, and that he had to wait for Hashem to command him to do it. which by the way explains that when Avraham Avinu in next week's Parsha, 2 weeks, Chayisara, when Avraham called in Eliezer to find the shidduch for Rivka, so he made him swear. Yeah, Simna Yochataches Yerechi, he made him basically hold on to the bris milah area. So what type of tznius is that? So Rashi explains because that was the only level that Hashem commanded him to do it. So that was similar to the concept of Matan Torah, where Hashem came down, like this, Gashmias and Ruchnius can't mix. But Hashem told him, it was like Matan Torah, that Hashem told him to do it, and therefore that was the level of milah that Avraham Avinu wanted to reach after Hashem told him to do it. And that he wouldn't have had if he did it on his own. Like it says, and therefore it says, Nimal Avraham, it says in the Pasuk, Nimal Avraham. Nimal Avraham doesn't mean he did it, it's passive. It didn't say Vayom, Be'etzem Vayomal Avraham. Avraham, but that's active. Nimal means he became circumcised. Right? Logic passive. And it doesn't say Vayomal Asatmi, like it says by Milas Yishmael. Vayomal, over there it says Vayomal, he circumcised Yishmael and everybody in the house and so on. Why? Vishua Mila, that's the level of Mila Shelmatik says, Umaltem Esarlos Levavchem. That's your action that you have to do. The lower level of Mila you have to do. The higher level of Mila, the second level of Mila, that level has to come Mumayla. So it's not his Aved anymore. And by the way, another interesting point, if you think about it, the level from Hashem's bris is Umol Hashem Elokecha, yeah? And we said that's the level Yud Gimel Yisarachmim, that's the level of Tshuva, no, yeah? So it's interesting, the Pasuk Umol Hashem Elokecha continues, Es Levavcha Ves Levav Zarecha. One of the acronyms of Elul is Es Levavcha Ve'es Levav. In that pasuk, Umal Hashem Elokecha, Es Levavcha Ves Levav Zarecha. Right, one of the many acronyms of Elul. Why? Because Elul is the union of Tshuva. And that's the level of Tshuva. The Tshuva is Momayla Lamata. That's Yud Gimel Midas Arachman. So therefore there the pasuk says Umal Hashem Elokecha. And therefore the pasuk here says Nimal Avraham, because Avraham became circumcised, meaning it wasn't his Aveda, it was a Gilui Momayla.
He had his after the bris or before the bris?
After the bris. He was 99 when he had the bris. That's when the Malachim came to visit him. And that's when they told him a year from now you're going to have a baby. So it's exactly a year after the bris. It's exactly a year. Was it Nisan, Tisha, and Machlekes in the Medrash, but whatever. But bottom line is Nimal Avraham, it's a Gilui Mamayla. But in order to come to this Gilui Mamayla, when it's Vayera Alev Hashem, the famous story with Rebbe Rashab, he came home crying to the Tzemach Tzedek. He learned in Cheder, Hashem appeared to Avraham. So he came home when he learned he was 5 years old. He came home and he asked his grandfather, Tzemach Tzedek, he was crying. So what's wrong? I want to know why Hashem appeared to Avraham and not to me. So his father answers two versions in the story. But he said, basically, the bottom line is, when a Jew who is 99 years old is willing to do a bris, he's worthy that Hashem should appear to him. Okay? Now that means, in Aveda, because he said before, in order to come to the higher level of Milah, you have to do your lower Aveda of Milah. Yeah? What does it mean? A yid 99 years old is willing to do a bris. So the Rebbe explains in the story that the Mishnah says in Pegav, Ben Meya, Kilum Mes So we learn Pegav, it doesn't have a negative, it's like you drop dead, I mean, it's ridiculous. Guy who lived Arichas Yom to 100, you don't tell him Kilum Mes. It means you reach the level of completion that Avad Ubatum in Ilam, you don't have any more of Ilam concealment. Meya represents the 10 mitzvahs, each one composed of 10. 100 represents perfection. So what did the Rebbe Rashab, what did Tzemach Tzedek say to the Rebbe Rashab when he's a 5-year-old kid? A Jew is 99 years old. That means he's almost there, you know? He's almost perfect. Yet he realizes he's far from perfection. He needs to do a bris. He's worthy that Hashem should appear to him. So Avram's Aveda, before the bris milah, was the milah momata of 99 years of Aveda. Because Avram Zokim Baba Yamim, every day was complete, the Zohar says. He lived every day of his life was a complete day, no wasting, no nothing. It was a perfect day. And yet he realizes he's far from perfection. He needs to do a bris milah. That's the ultimate level. Then he was zeichet to the milah momayla. It's not only that he did Avodah 99 years. The word is the Avodah of 99 years, he came to the realization, I'm a nothing.
His decision or his decision.
What?
It was something that was dictated.
Yeah, but he chose to do it. He could have said no. But
Avraham Avinu did the bris first and then his whole household, or how did that?
yeah,
No, that's what it was.
yeah. That's what the Pasuk says. Look at the end of the Parshat today. It's simply Nimal Avram because Avram was an old man. So Hashem helped him do the bris. So Nimal, he didn't help me do it himself. Whatever. So he says, like it says by Avram Zachal Gil Malavai Lecha, and there it says Nimal Avram, and that's what it says Be'etzem Hayom Hazeh, in the middle of the day, yeah, in the etzem of the day. What does it mean? Pirish Ba'atzmi Shal Hayom Hazeh, in the Yom Hazeh, in the etzem of a Yom Hazeh. Now what's Yom Hazeh? Yom Hazeh or Yom Shekula Orach Shekula Teiv. Yom is Gilui. Right? Yom, by definition, is Gilui. Laila is Choshech. So, Yom is Gilui. Then you can have Yom Ahu, you have Amar by Yom Ahu. Then you have Amar, Yom Hazeh, Nimal Avram. So, Yom is Gilui, and Zeh is Gilui. Zeh, you point to it, it's right in front of you. Ahu means whatever. So, Avram merited in the atzmius of Yom, he was mamshech the level of Zeh. Like Zeh Kelev Amveyu and that whole thing. La'atzad Lavai, we say in, it's a pasuk, but we say it in V'yita Lucha Saturday night. V'amar b'yemahu, hine Elokeinu Zeh, kivinu le'veshin, Zeh Hashem kivinu lei, Zeh Hashem kivinu lei. There's twice Zeh. So it says now in this world, even by Kriyas Yamsuf, which was, they saw, who knows what, there was only one Zeh. For Amar B'yemahu, when Mashiach comes, it's going to be double Zeh. Double Gilui. So B'etzem Yom Hazeh Nimal Av Yom Hazeh, what does Yom Hazeh refer to? Yom Shekula Orach Shekula Teiv, meaning lots of Lavei. V'atz M'shayim Hazeh No'ez HaGilui Gadol, which will be La'os Lavei in the level of Rav Tucha. That's what he had on that day. When at that level of etzem that gilui of la'atzad lavei was revealed to Avraham, then Nimal Avram became circumcised. It was a gilui momayla. Okay, that's this mimer. Okay, we're going to learn Pasuk Eliyahu, even though we learn it every year, but it's such a fundamental mimer, and there's basically, that's the only mimer for Vayeh. There's another mimer, but this is the main mimer. Okay. Pasuk Eliyahu opened up and he said, Antu Chav, this we say every week in Pasuk Eliyahu, right? Or you guys call it Patach Eliyahu. Pasuk Eliyahu, Antu Chad, he said, you are one. V'lei b'choshmin, you're not in the reckonings. Antu Tapikos Asa Tikunin, you are the one. You, Hashem, brought out the 10 Tikunim, and you call them the 10 Spheres. Okay? So basically, in Pasuk Eliyahu, which is part of the Zohar, by the way, so he's calling the Tikunim Spheres. Asa Tikunim, V'kunim Asa Spherim. You call them 10 Spheres. So he says like this. By the way, it's very interesting. In Chassidus it says, in Zohar, not that I learned Zohar, in any way whatsoever, shape or fine. But when you say Zohar, it's always in Zohar it says Pasach Eliyahu v'Amar, Pasach Rav Shimon v'Amar, Pasach Rabbi Yosef v'Amar, Pasach Rabbi Yehuda v'Amar. In Gemara you don't have Pasach Abaye v'Amar, Pasach Rava v'Amar. You don't have that. In Zohar it's a lot of Pasach Eliyahu v'Amar. So Pasach doesn't, what do you mean open? Say v'Amar. Amar Eliyahu. What's it? Pasach Eliyahu v'Amar. Pasach means he opened up the channel. In other words, like the Ramban says, and the concept of Maisa of is similar Rabbanim. The Ramban is a famous expression, Ramban brought down by everywhere. Maisa of is similar Rabbanim mean what happened to the Ovis is a simon for the children, for us. What does it mean? The simple meaning is their koyach that they did it opened up the channels for us to be able to do it too. In other words, there's difficulties. So these great tzaddikim opened the channel. Now that the door is open, it's hard to open the door. But once the door is open, everybody could walk in. You don't need, we mentioned the famous story of the Beis Yosef, that he once had a question on learning, a very difficult question, and he worked at it for a few weeks and he got the answer. And one time he was in a community, whatever, in a shul, whatever, and somebody, they were learning that thing, and somebody asked this question, and on the spot somebody answered the answer. So he felt bad. I mean, he knew where he was. There's no guy there, but he knew where he was. He said, I understand, I worked weeks on this, and now this guy in 1 second answers the question. So he had a malach that used to learn with him. Okay, so he asked the malach, next time he was learning, whatever that means. He asked him what's going on here. So he explained to him. There's a lot of aspects in Torah that need to be brought down. Okay? It takes a great person to bring it down. In other words, you need the pasach. Once it's down, so your greatness brought it down. Don't feel bad. You brought it into the world. Now it's in the world. It's there already. Even lahavdil, once like in science, scientific development, you have in different countries, all of a sudden, the same time, different people create the same chiddush. It's interesting. The same time, same people, because it was brought down, this Torah, this chachma of wisdom. So it was brought down into the world. So now everybody picked it up. What?
Speaking of opening the channel to connect, is there anybody in halacha or in Hali that we need to say Patach Eliyahu before davening, like mincha or shachrit or shachrit?
In the Siddur it says you say Patach Eliyahu before mincha.
Yes.
No.
What about shachrit?
No.
Before Mincha and Erev Shabbat.
Yeah, mincha and Erev Shabbat.
Sephardim say it every day.
I know some Sephardim say it every day. Yeah.
So it opens the channel. Is there anything that says this? It's in Siddur, right?
Yes. So
The question is, should we say it or not?
when it
Not
says
for Erev Shabbos. I'm talking about every shachrit or every mincha.
It's not the Musa. He's not a Musa.
somebody asked the Rebbe, it's the printed letter in back of Sichas, okay? Somebody asked the Rebbe, why doesn't Chabad say Ani Ma'amin after davening, and why isn't it in the Siddur? Yeah? So the Rebbe answered, the reason we don't say it, number one, is because it's not in the Siddur. If it's not in the Siddur, we don't say it. Then the Rebbe explains why it's not in the Siddur. But the point is, we don't say it because it's not... The Friedrich Rebbe said, who says you have to look for all these good luck things, these gulas? No, who said you have to... If the Rabbeim told us to do it, we do it. If they don't tell us to do it, we don't do it. The Friedrich Rebbe said it. We don't look for gulas. If the Rabbeim didn't say to do it, we don't do it. And then they make Chabad minhagim out of it yet. It's unbelievable.
In some cases, Chabad says that they don't say it.
Yeah. I mean, but this is, if your minig is to say it, you say it. Your minig is not to say it, you don't say it. So say Patach Eliyahu a whole day. Every day, a whole day.
If, according to what you said, he already opened it up. Why do you have to say it again? If he opened it up, it's open.
You have to open the door more?
He already opened it.
Yeah, but now you have to open it more. Let him more gilui.
Now, what did he open up?
He opened up the channel to understand this.
Which channel?
The channel of Elokus coming down in the 10 spheres and in all these things to understand what it's all about.
Brought it down.
They brought it down, now we can get it. Now we can understand it.
Just Kabbalah, we knew that left side is this, right side is this. He opened it, it's Eliyahu.
He revealed it.
He revealed it.
Yeah. It was given to Moshe ben Har Sinai, but he opened it. What's on the other side of the door is there before you open the door. Right? But you have to reveal it at certain times. Everything in Torah, I've said this many times, you find aspects of Torah that were revealed 1,000 years ago, and then 800 years ago, and 500 years ago, and today aspects in Torah are revealed. Everything in Torah has its time or customs, what it needs to be revealed. There were certain, in the Rebbe's times, this generation, yeah, the Friedrich Rebbe and the Rebbe's generation, their minhagim we do today that the previous Chassidim didn't do. Even the way they put on tefillin is not the way we do it today. You understand? So there's certain minhagim that needed to be revealed at a certain time. And the Rebbe said this many times. I'll give you an example, the classic example. The Rebbe came out with the minhag that goes Sheben Shlicht, 3-year-olds. Yeah? Okay, the base, by the Rebbe, they also always did it. But all of a sudden, the Rebbe came out with a campaign. Why wasn't this campaign 100 years ago? So the Rebbe explains, because now the time needs it. So now, if the time needs it, we're going to institute this minhag. But you have to know what you're doing. You know what I mean? You have to just, okay, we're going to start a new custom. I mean, because sometimes minhag, the letters minhag, is the same letters as Gehenim. So in Halacha it says sometimes minhag kazeh as shenikra Gehenim. Such a minhag that people want to do is like Gehenim. So you have to know it's a fine line between kedusha and between a minhag Yisrael Torah or Gehenim. So you have to know what you're doing.
Every time you want to learn Torah, it's like the Shem food. Like you want to say Tikkun Chassid, you say Patachali. You want to go to Shabbos, you say Patachali.
He was a nice guy, Leon Navi.
It's like
I mean, like what's wrong with him?
No, I didn't say there's an answer. I'm saying it's opening the channels. It's connecting.
So
You have to connect.
Lulav and Esrik brings down Kedusha? Yeah?
At Sukkot.
No, why don't you do it a whole year?
It's expensive.
By the way, if you do Lulav and Esrik a whole year, and you wear a bracha, you're going to get sins a whole year. For bracha v'atola. But it brings down Kedusha.
I'm saving one for next year.
Yeah, good.
I'm using the actual for the you make a jam out of it.
Is tefillin good? Do it on Shabbos too. Do it 10 times a day. It doesn't work like that. So people that have that minhag, all minhagim are holy. There's Ashkenazi customs, Sephardic customs, Litvish customs. That's the beauty of Yiddishkeit. So if this is our minhag, then we do it. If it's not a minhag, we don't do it.
Rabbi, ask him why he doesn't get Brit Milah every day.
He does. It's a pull in him shachs. I said yesterday. It's every day you're getting a.
You know, Brit Milah is continuous. It's happening.
That's what I'm just saying. It's continuous. It's happening. So there's certain minhagim why we don't do it, because the Rabbi said not to do it. We don't look for all these. The Rebbe said, the Friedrich Rebbe said, you don't look for the gulas. The Rabbi said it. You do it. You don't do it. You don't do it. That's what I would think is.
Why do people put God forbid surgery on Tuesday, or don't do something in?
Because Torah says it's a mazel dekadei.
What's the Parshat told? It doesn't say.
Hamayim Kitayv. So it's Chesed. Yom Shlishi is Tiferes, which is Rachamim. So it's a good day.
Or in the month of Av, or do everything in the month of
Av it's a bad month, so therefore it's not a Mazel Dika month. So Torah says, don't do things in Av. If I come along and say, okay, you know what, in Cheshvan it's not a good month, it's called Mar Cheshvan. Yeah, Mr. Bitter Cheshvan, Mr. Cheshvan, whatever. That's not what it means. Mar means drops of water. But anyway, so therefore, nobody should do these things. By the way, years ago, people didn't do weddings in Cheshvan, in Chabad. So they didn't do weddings in Cheshvan. My parents got married in Cheshvan in the beginning of Cheshvan. I wasn't there then, but my parents got married in Cheshvan. Obviously, the Friedrich Rebbe told them that, it was fine. But in the later years, there was a minute, you don't get married in Cheshvan. You don't get married in the second half of a month.
Because the Mammon started?
No. Because there's no Chagim, it's a bitter, Mar.
The moon is getting smaller.
Because in the second half of the month, in Kabbalah, it's brought down, by the way, in Halacha it's brought down, that there's people that have a minute, you don't get married in the second half of the month. Why? Because like this, the moon is getting bigger. Except Elul and Adar, the whole month is Mazel Dik, so it doesn't matter. Yeah? But then the Rebbe, in the recent years, it's already 30 years, but I'm saying, in the recent years, the Rebbe took off all those barriers. And the Rebbe said, you get engaged, you get married as soon as possible. Cheshvan, not Cheshvan, it doesn't matter. Half, second half, first half, you get married as soon as possible. The Rebbe took off those barriers.
Why as soon as possible?
Why? Because things were going on that's not proper between Chassan and Kalas. So therefore you have to get married as soon as possible. What?
So it takes a tzaddik to bring down the new revelation.
Correct.
Once the new revelation is brought down, it is entering into a shared pool of consciousness that everyone can draw into.
If you want to use that language,
Yeah.
The new system.
Psychological,
Come down to Google Earth, and then we can Google it.
Yes. It takes a tzaddik to bring it down. And nobody can come with Numen Hog. Okay, I'm going to start doing it this way. Very nice, do it. But as long as you don't hurt anybody else, you can do whatever you want, right? But that's not what the Torah says to do.
And when there is no physically, not physically, there is no nasi, that means there is nothing is come down.
Nothing new in that way, no.
Wow.
We learned so much of this new Maimer today. Pasach Liyah.